Hello my friends and welcome to this yoga practice for trimester 3. For this class we'll be doing a number of stretches up a body, the hips, and also we'll be doing a few groin exercises just to help open up any areas of tension that can arise during pregnancy. For this class you will need a few props. So here I would encourage you to have some blocks, or if not, some books maybe to help you get into these poses a little bit more deeply. I'd also like you to have a band. Now if you don't have one of these, you can always use a dressing gown, robe or a towel just to help stretch out a little bit more. And finally, as ever, we'll need our trusty bolster or a cushion just to help us as we come into those final poses and want to relax. So, with that said, get into something comfortable and let's begin. Going to begin this class sat in easy pose. So crossing your legs, looping those shoulders back, sitting up straight, visualizing a piece of string coming up through your spine, out through the top of your head towards the ceiling. Keeping your chest open, your heart above your pelvis, your head above your heart, and then just bringing your hands, if you would like, onto your belly. And just take this moment to think of gratitude for the love and the light that's inside of you, growing into a life. Any other distractions are not important right now. This is the time for you, your body and mind and baby to connect. And just focus on that intention for the rest of the class. Unclenching your jaw and furrowing your brow. Just let yourself feel grounded here. Always reminding yourself to sit with your spine straight, opening up the shoulders. And here we're going to do a few warm-up moves. So slowly bringing your hands towards your knees. And then letting your right ear come towards your right shoulder. If you like, bringing your right arm over your head to meet your right ear, feeling that stretch down your neck, which I know personally for me is a really welcome stretch because of the tension in your neck sometimes, because of the extra weight you're carrying. Breathing in here and then exhale, and then coming to the center again, and then slowly letting your left ear this time drop towards your left shoulder. This might be enough for you, but if you'd like to intensify this, bringing the left hand around up over your right ear. And then come back to center. And we're going to bring some stretching now to our shoulder blade area. Shoulder blades, I have found personally, get quite tired as they're bending forward a lot more, especially if you sit in an office chair, for example. So I'm just going to do some poses that might counter that. Now firstly, I'd like you to bring your right hand down to the right hand side of your mat, and then bringing your left hand to meet your right elbow, like so. And then Just resting here, bringing your shoulder blades towards each other and then leaning over if you want to intensify this with your right ear to your right shoulder. Beautiful, coming up to center, and we'll take that to the other side, so bringing your left hand down to the mat and grabbing hold of your left elbow with your right hand this time, and just sitting here, bringing your chest up and open, and then if you'd like to intensify this, bringing your left ear to meet your left shoulder. Wonderful. Coming up to center now, just be mindful of that movement, don't do anything too fast. And then do a little bit of cat-cow, so bending your spine slightly, arching it in, bring your chin down to your chest, and then opening up your chest here. Bring your chest forward, bring your shoulders back. Wonderful. Now come back to center. We're going to take our strap here. So we're going to do a few moves that will help with your upper body. Here I'd like you to grab firstly the strap, so it's just sort of at a slight edge of intensity here, but bringing your elbows to meet your waistline and having your arms out in front of you, directly in front of you, and then straighten up with your spine. And I'd like you to slightly bring out, stretching out your arms, but keeping, it's really key, you keep your elbows in contact with your waist as you do this. And then exhale, bringing the arms together. Inhale. And then exhale, coming back to center. We'll just repeat that 5 times. It's going to help with your wrists and overall posture. Allowing yourself to bring your shoulder blades a little bit further together than you might otherwise. Don't take this too fast, just take it slowly. And then one final one. Come back to center now. And now I'd like you just to swap around your legs, so crossing them in another direction. Just again, we're all about trying to create symmetry and balance, which can so often be offset during pregnancy. So just keep that in mind. And now here, we're going to bring pretty much in the position we were. We're going to have our wrists facing down and our wrists and hands clenched over the tie or strap, I couldn't remember the word there, and then lifting up your strap up and opening up your arms and then bringing them together, opening up and bringing together. A wonderful stretch. Keeping your spine as straight as you can. And we'll take one more here. And then, if we can, bringing our arms back behind us. This is absolutely amazing for those of you who might be suffering from any shoulder blade issues. And then bringing your arms together as we have been, bending your elbows as you do this. This is reversing any leaning forward you may be doing all day, putting pressure on your shoulders and shoulder blades. Wonderful. And now, just dropping the strap behind you, keeping the strap up above you with your right hand, I'd just like you to reach around your back, and I'll just show you what I mean. With your left arm, and just bringing your hands closer together if you can. So this is our final stretch in the shoulder blades. Now you can kneel here, or you can cross your legs. Just opening up your chest here. Two more breaths. And then releasing. We'll take that to the other side, so bringing your left arm up above you, let the strap hang, and then with your right arm, go under with your right arm, not over, and we'll just bring the hands as close together as you can. So it might feel completely different on one side, trying here to keep your elbow up and lifted. This really again helps you counteract any leaning forward you may be doing. Four more breaths here. Keeping lifted with your chest. It might help to lift your chin here. Wonderful. And slowly releasing this pose. And now we're going to come into our all fours, or onto our all fours rather. Just bringing your knees hip width apart. Just checking in with yourself here. Feeling aligned. And we're going to begin to circle around the hips. And as we get used to this movement, we're just going to loosen up the spine. You might be able to come all the way around and back, and then forward. And then you might take it to the other side, other way around. Feeling some clicks is quite normal. And then coming back to center. We're going to inhale, taking a few exercises here to help with our spine and keeping it fluid. So inhale, arching the spine, let the head drop, chin comes to your chest. And then slowly coming back into child's pose, making sure your knees open up here and you don't squash anything. Bending the elbows, coming forward, back up to all fours. And we'll take that again a few times, reaching down. Again, just helping massage fluidity into the spine. Arching round. And coming up. Two more times. And then return to center on all fours. Now, you may find this is enough for you on all fours today, just to give yourself a bit of time to find your center of gravity, or you're welcome to also come up into a downward facing dog if that's available to you. Now, it may not be for everyone, especially if you're after 38 weeks. So tuck the toes under, and then coming up into a downward facing dog. So here you might like to stretch out the calves. Let your head hang down. Just checking that your biceps are in line with your ears and that you're pushing up to the sky. And then we'll turn your ankles down. Take 2 more breaths. Beautiful. And slowly now bend the knees, coming back down onto our all fours. And we'll just take a second here. Get back to the centre. And now I'd like you to grab hold of your blocks, either side of the mat, and then bringing yourself forward into a lunge. So bringing your right foot forward first, check that your ankle is in line with your knee, and just lean forward and open here as we take a low lunge. Now, because we are in the stage of pregnancy, our body has more relaxin in it than it normally does. So sometimes you feel as though you're more flexible than you really are. So just use your blocks sensibly and don't try and go into anything too far down if it doesn't feel right. And the reason we create more relaxin is to help us during labour and your muscles loosen up. But it's only temporary, so you don't want to stretch anything too far. Now here, if you like, I'm going to extend it, stretch slightly, bringing the right hand block into the centre of the mat, so it should be on the left hand side of your right foot. And I'm just going to heel toe out slightly and come into lizard pose. Here again, use your blocks how you like. You might be able to slightly lower them down if that feels comfortable. And we'll just get a little bit deeper into this pose. So it's a really strong and nice hip opening pose, this. Hips again can get very tense as you're carrying around so much weight on them. So just use this time to unwind and loosen up and create some space. More breaths here. Wonderful. And then heel toe the foot into the centre, and then we'll come down back into all fours. And you may notice how one side feels compared to the other. Just observe that difference for a second before we take those stretches onto the other side. So here, again, use our blocks and come into a low lunge. Again, checking your alignment and posture okay here, so that your ankle is below your knee on the left hand side, opening up your chest. Low lunge. Lift your chin up. Remembering to breathe at all times. This ability to come back to your breath will really help you during labour. Once you're comfortable in this pose, again, we'll bring the block into the centre, so the block should now be on the right hand side of your left foot. And just heel toe out to the side. Again, you may want to adjust your blocks so that you can get a little bit deeper into this pose. You might want to bring the blocks down a little bit lower, for example. Opening up your chest, opening up your hips. More breath here, inhale, and then exhale, bringing the block to the side, heel toe back in to the centre, and then return to all fours. Wonderful. Now observe how that feels on your body compared to how you felt at the beginning of the practice. Coming down onto your knees into a kneeling position now. I'm going to take one final move called bridge before we take our final resting pose. So here, I would like you to come down onto your backs, but remember we won't be on our backs for long because we're going to try and avoid all poses on your backs during this time. So here I'd like you to have your feet in line with your hips and coming back towards your bum just a little bit closer than you might naturally. Have your arms down onto the mat so they support you, and then begin to lift your pelvis up off the mat, peeling it off the ground vertebra by vertebra, pressing down through the feet now, feeling that lovely stretch and also that lovely strengthening in your quads. And then exhale, come down vertebra by vertebra, nothing too fast. Don't let your back come down completely onto the mat, and then begin to lift off again, pushing up to the sky and just gently coming down again. Put your spine down. Don't let your hips drop off to the side, always keep them, trying to keep them straight, square with the mat. Beautiful. And we'll take that one last time. Lifting the pelvis and then exhaling. Wonderful. When you're done, just come down to the mat and let your knees drop out to the side into fetal position. And we're going to find our way up before we set up for our final resting pose. So here, I'd like you, as ever, to grab hold of your block. And as I mentioned before, we're really trying to avoid any poses which involve you lying on your back, because that can restrict movement. It can also restrict blood flows to through an important artery called the vena cava. So we're really trying to avoid being on our back. And that is why we will bring our blocks into this. So you can either pile your blocks one on top of the other, bringing your bolster around like so that it's on the mat and at an angle, and then sitting down, comfortably bending your knees, just slowly coming down, slowly and mindfully onto your bolster. And you can have the option here to bring your feet together and opening up your hips to the side into a Supta Baddha Konasana, which is a butterfly pose. For me, at the moment, this feels a little bit too much. So I'm going to bend my knees and come down with my legs straight. We're just going to take a few moments here to relax, unwind, and observe the difference our practice has made. Feeling yourself surrender to the mat. Let your body sink into the ground and the earth. You may want to turn your hands and your palms up to the ceiling. Unclenching your jaw, unfurrowing your brow. And as you take an inhale, you may wish to clench in your pelvis. And as you exhale, release. And you may want to do a couple of those exercises as you come into this relaxation pose. Feeling the oxygen go through your lungs, feeling that sense of space that you've now created in your body. Reversing any of the effects of carrying around your heavy bump. And just bringing your hands onto your bump, just nurturing the baby. Now you're quite welcome to begin to wiggle your hands, wiggle your feet, and start to breathe a bit more heavily. For those of you who have time, I'd recommend staying in this position for as long as you can, giving yourself this time to connect with your mind and your baby. But for those of you who might need to come out of this practice now, I'd like you to begin to bend your knees and just roll over to one side into fetal position, remembering you're on a bolster, so supporting yourself as you come up. Coming back into our easy pose where we began. Looping around the shoulders. Take a few seconds here. Again, bringing your hands and your palms on your belly. Taking a moment for gratitude of the life and love that's growing inside of you. And then you can join me by bringing your palms together. We bow and say namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. I really hope you enjoyed this practice. If you like what you saw, there are many more other classes for prenatal yoga and Pilates, and I'd encourage you to subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again on the mat soon. Namaste.